Hi, I'm trying to rewire my motherboard on my Carrier Infinity system to work with a Nest. I have found some help on this forum, but I just wanted to make sure what I am doing is right first.
I'll do all I can to help. How long have you been dealing with this?
Since I moved in, I bought an Infinity Touch thermostat, but it just doesn't work great, disconnects from the internet all the time.
Just to clarify, do you think this is a larger HVAC problem, or something specific to the thermostat?
Carrier's servers just disconnect all the time, not a larger HVAC problem. HVAC is working fine.
Do you plan on doing the work yourself?
I do.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
Here is my setup. When I open the furnace to gain access to the wires to rewire, here is what is on my plug harness. 2 wires are going into each spot. I assume one is coming from the thermostat and the other going to the AC unit. My A wire is green, B is yellow, C is white, and D is red. I have an open blue and brown wire. I assume these correspond in the following manner: A/green to G, B/yellow to Y, C/white to W1, and D/red to RH. Then, since I have 2-stage heating and cooling, I assume those wires need to go to Y2 and W2 respectively.
Hi, I'm Brian and I can help with this. I'm sorry your question has been on the board so long, I just saw it now. Would you still like help with your thermostat issue? Thanks, Brian.
Please. Have heard some stuff that I might lose some efficiency by switching from my Infinity Touch Therm to a Nest. But it seems like all I lose are filter and static pressure notifications. That Nest can still properly use 2-stage heating and air.
Great, let's get started. First, can I get a list of the Infinity equipment model numbers that you're controlling? Then can you tell me what generation of Nest thermostat you are wanting to use? Lastly, do you know how many conductors, wires, are in each of the 2 thermostat cables, one from thermostat to indoor unit, one from indoor unit to outdoor unit? With all of that info, I can give you all the info needed.
My current thermostat is the JustAnswer-Q&A. My furnace is the 58 CVA 110 13120 air conditioner 60 kBh. Going from the thermostat to the circuit board are 6 wires, and the same for the wires going to the outdoor unit.
Okay, thanks for that info, that helps a lot. The 6 wires from the thermostat location to the furnace will limit things a bit. 7 would be ideal, but with 6 we may be able to work with that. Okay. Let me pull up the manual for your furnace and do some reading. Basically, what has to be done to use a Nest with your Infinity system is change the wiring and configuration of your system from a communicating type system where info between thermostat, furnace and AC is sent serially instead of by binary switching, which is known as legacy mode, and how the Nest is hooked up. Most Infinity systems are capable of both communication and legacy modes. I'll be able to tell you more after reading your furnace's service manual. Thanks for your patience, Brian.
Great. Thanks. Would a picture of the motherboard help? And I might, strong emphasis on the might, have enough access to the unit and thermostat to be able to run an extra wire between the thermostat and my indoor unit. But I probably can't get from the indoor to outdoor.
6 wires from indoor to outdoor will be plenty, but an 8 wire would be ideal between furnace and thermostat. I'll know a bit more when I find the service manual. I don't have that particular manual in hard copy, and I'm having a bit of trouble locating the 130 series manual online, but I'm sure I'll find it. Yes, a picture of the furnace control board would be great. When the time comes, a picture of the outdoor unit control board would be helpful to us both, but not necessary right now. Okay, I have the manual. Yes, switching the wiring to legacy mode is an option for your furnace and AC. Basically, we will have to rewire your low voltage and all equipment from scratch, and we'll abandon all the ABCD terminal connections and use this standard RCY1, Y2, W1, W2G, etc. Terminals at the thermostat, furnace and AC. If you'd like the best operation possible with a Nest Gen 3 thermostat in your system, running an 8-wire conductor between the Nest and the furnace would be the preferred course. We can do it with 6, but you will lose 1 or possibly 2 functions out of humidity control or 2-stage heat control by thermostat. How much functionality you lose with 6 wires is dependent on how the Nest does without a C-wire connection. If it needs that connection for your system, you will lose both functions above. If it doesn't need the C-wire, you will only lose the humidity function. Nest thermostats using Wi-Fi always work better when you use a C-wire. Let me know how you want to proceed and I'll help guide you through it. In addition to wiring changes, there are board switch settings to configure as well. Thanks, Brian.
I don't believe I have a humidifier currently, if that makes a difference. That said, I believe I can probably get another wire or 2 run. Probably can't get that run today, however.
That's fine, we have plenty of time, as much time as you need. Just post a new reply on this thread and I'll be notified. The humidity control can also be applied in cooling if you live in a very humid climate. The terminal on the Nest can be configured for either humidify or dehumidify, but we can address that at wiring time.
Great. Thank you. Also, I will get pictures of the panels for you. So with all the new wires, I shouldn't be losing too much capability, in your opinion?
No, the things you lose are any alarming features that would display on the Infinity control, and really that's about it. I've helped quite a few customers both here and in the field convert to legacy type standard control thermostats, and they've always been much happier with their choice. Most folks don't seem to like the Carrier Infinity or Bryant Evolution thermostats. With 8 wires, you have all your staging ability and humidity control, if desired. If you use the different fan speeds for manual control of your fan, you'll lose a little functionality there, but most folks don't use that feature anyway. You won't lose any system efficiency, that's just not true. The Nest is a quality thermostat and has very good control algorithms built in.
Great. You've been awesome so far. I guess I should ask if you would recommend any different thermostat than the Nest. Was just going with Nest because it integrates with my Vivint security system.
Everyone I have either helped install one here or installed in the field has been very happy with the Nest. The only one that seems to come close is the ecobee3, but I'm not sure if it would integrate with your system. The Honeywell IAC is a good system, but the Wi-Fi access is through them only, and it's fairly complicated to install since there's a separate relay interface module, but it has a lot more features and versatile programming. I'm sure that wouldn't integrate with your security system. Honeywell is very proprietary. It sounds like the Nest is a good fit in your installation.
Good news, I got the other 2 wires run from the thermostat to the indoor unit. What do you need from me next?
Wow, that's great. The pictures of the boards on both the indoor and outdoor units would be nice. I'm still not 100% sure what boards you have in your unit, so it'll be easier to tell you how to wire if you show the pics. If you give me the board numbers, that would be nice too. They should start with HK. Oh, and the exact and full model number of the outdoor unit too, please smile. I'll also need to know what color the low voltage wires are in all locations. Pictures would probably be easier.
Okay, I will get all that together. I will tell you this, the new wires I was able to buy were red and white, didn't have another color. So I will just have to label those, but they are in an entirely separate wire bundle, so it should be easy to keep them separate. We'll have to get the outdoor unit pics tomorrow given that it's dark out now.
Very good. I usually get online around noon EST, but sometimes earlier. I'll look for your next posts. Have a great night and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks, Brian.
This first message contains a picture of the thermostat and wires, and then pictures of the indoor unit motherboard. The indoor unit number is. This message contains photos of the outdoor unit. The board number for the outdoor unit is HK38YA01035007.
Good morning. Thanks for all the pictures and info. Please allow me some time to review them and I'll be back to either ask for more or give you instructions to start your process. Do you have your new thermostat yet?
Picking the thermostat up here in about 30 minutes.
Awesome. The pics are great and just what I needed. The one thing remaining that I really need is the outdoor unit's full model number. If it's easier, a picture of the outdoor unit data plate sticker that should be on the exterior cabinet will do fine. Thanks, Brian.
Here is everything I could find on it.
That's perfect, thanks. I have everything I need now to fully instruct you on how to handle this conversion. This will take me a while to type out, so please bear with me. First, I will send a detailed wiring scheme. You should unwire all of the field thermostat wires from their ABCD terminals at both units. After that, I will send some info on how to set dip switches and board jumpers on your furnace, if necessary. Make sure you turn power off to both the indoor and outdoor units before beginning.
Sounds good. Take your time, I have to go pick up the thermostat right now and run one other errand. So I probably won't be back to my house for an hour and a half or so.
Okay, I have all the instructions, but first, the thermostat cable going to the outdoor unit looks like it only has 4 wires in it, red, white, yellow, and green. Is that correct, or is there blue and brown in there too? Also, on the thermostat cable going to the thermostat location at the furnace, it's unfortunate they cut the blue and brown wires instead of wrapping them around the cable as unused wires. I would cut all wires the same length and start from scratch, as this will give a much neater wiring job. When you strip each thermostat wire, be sure to only strip them long enough to fit in their respective terminals. Wires that are stripped too long can easily short to other wires or other things they shouldn't short to. 1/4 - 3/8 is usually plenty. The ICTERJ computer type Berg jumper that is near the terminal strip on the furnace control board must be in the UN shorted position. What this means is you will remove the jumper and then insert it over only one pin. This leaves the jumper there for future use if it's ever needed. So let me know about the cable going outside, whether it's a 4 or 6 conductor cable, and I'll adjust my instructions accordingly and send them directly. Thanks, Brian.
It looks as if there are 6 cables going to the outdoor unit within the conductor cable. However, it just looks like they cut them off shorter than the rest of them, so you can't see them. I will cut all wires and make them the same length upon rewiring, as there is enough extra cable to do so.
Ah, okay then. That's good. Here is your wiring scheme. Okay, this is how you will wire things: furnace, 2-wire cable from thermostat location to furnace terminal strip, red to R white to C, 6-wire cable from thermostat location to furnace terminal strip, yellow to Y1, blue to Y/Y2, green to G, white to W1, brown to W2, red to DIM, 6-wire cable from outdoor unit to furnace terminal strip, red to R white to C, yellow to Y1, blue to Y/Y2 outdoor unit, red to R white to C, yellow to Y1, blue to Y2 nest wiring, 2-wire cable, red to RH white to C, 6-wire cable, yellow to Y1, blue to Y2, green to G, white to W1, brown to W2/O, red to. At the furnace on the 4 terminals that will have 2 wires each, you should put 1 wire on each side of the screw under the wire clamp. This ensures equal clamping and a solid connection to each wire.
The only issue I am having is with this extrude jumper being in the unshorted position. I am not really sure what I am moving. Is it something that can be seen in one of my pictures?
I can't tell clearly how the dip switches are set in your pictures, but this is how you will set them on the furnace control board: dip switch and extrude jumper settings. Extrude jumper off, dip switch bank 1 OFF, 2 on, 3 OFF, 4 on, 5 OFF unless you experience repeated indoor coil icing and cooling, then on, 6 OFF, 7 OFF, 8 OFF, dip switch bank 2 1 OFF, 2 OFF, 3 OFF, dip switch bank 3 1 OFF, 2 OFF, 3 OFF, dip switch bank 4 1 OFF, 2 OFF, 3 OFF. Yes, I will take one of your pictures and annotate it with an arrow pointing to the extrude jumper. Stand by for that, it will take a few minutes.
I remove the communication port. Might be easier to see the dip switches. I see what you mean now. SW1, SW2. So on and so forth. Switching those now. Okay. The only switches that are now on are 2 and 4 on SW1. All others are off.
Click here for a Dropbox link to one of your pictures annotated to show the extrude jumper. You don't have to sign up for Dropbox, just click the View Picture Now button at the bottom.
Ha! Thanks for the diagram. It was labeled plain as day. Not sure how I missed it.
That looks good, all the switches are correct in that last picture of them. Lol, it's a large board with a lot of components. It's easy to miss that tiny jumper hidden behind the relay.
After I remove the wires from the coma port, should I plug it back in or just save it somewhere safe? After I remove the wires from the comms port, should I plug it back in or just save it somewhere safe?
You can put the connectors back on, they will be fine, they're empty. They should be on firmly enough to stay in place even with nothing connected to them.
Okay. Cutting, stripping and rewiring. I guess I will take pictures before turning breakers on if that's okay.
Now after you get that all done, you can power up the furnace and AC unit. The Nest will power up and start asking you some questions. The Gen 3 Nest is very intuitive, so there shouldn't be much to answer. The biggest question it's going to have is what the connection it is for. Tell me what it asks you and I'll help you make the right choice. If it asks any other questions you're not sure about, post them here and I'll help with those too. Yep, that's fine if you'd like me to confirm your wiring. No problem at all.
Just to confirm. Only using 4 of the 6 wires going between the furnace and the outdoor unit.
That's correct, the outdoor unit only needs power, R&C, and high and low speed cooling signals, Y1 and Y2.
Okay. Thanks. Was just confused since you asked if there were 6 going outside. Okay, pictures of the indoor unit. Moving on to nest and outdoor.
I asked that so I could try to keep some semblance of wiring convention. While there is no set wiring standard for color coding low voltage in the AC industry, there is a typical and loosely accepted standard. The wiring scheme I gave you is as close to the accepted norm as best I could do with the colors I had to work with. If the outdoor cable only had 4 wires, I would have to change things around a bit. That looks great. Now just the nest to go. Almost there.
Trying to label the wires on the nest. Is there going to be E-hum, D-hum, or W3?
It is D-hum. It will work in the cooling cycle to try to maintain better humidity control in the summer if it's really humid. It will interface with the furnace dehum terminal and take appropriate measures to try to load the humidity if it's high. Lower.
Nest. I double-checked the red and whites.
That looks great. Now you can button everything up and turn the power on. Let me know if you want help with any questions the nest asks you.
Well, I am running outside to finish that one. I am the world's slowest wire stripper.
Lol, no worries. Hopefully it's not too cold out there.
Outside. About to turn system in. Forgot to attach.
Looks great, let me know how the smoke test goes. Smile.
Don't jinx me. Nest is on. That seems like a good sign.
Lol, if you stare fear in the face it disappears.
Equipment should be dehumidifier. Correct.
Correct, and if it asks you if it's reverse acting or something of that sort, it is. In other words, the output should be on when there is no need for dehumidification.
Does this look right?
It should give another option: do deenergize on the dehumidifier and activate fan. When the terminal has power energized, the dehumidification routine in the furnace and AC unit is deactivated. When power is removed from the terminal, this means humidity is high and it activates the dehumidify routine in the equipment. All else looks correct.
Okay, it asks, type, options are, humidifier, dehum with AC, do may standalone or W3 heat stage 3 to dehum. Options are energize or denergize fan, activate or don't activate. This is what I think you wanted to say in the attached picture. Correct.
That's exactly correct.
Sorry, it wants me to confirm 2 other things. Here is the first. And I think it will ask the same on W2. Promise I'm almost done bugging you.
The options it chose are correct for your furnace. It should be the same for W2 if it asks. And no worry, you're not bugging me at all.
I guess it's running a test. I can hear the furnace humming a bit, but nothing is happening on stage 1.
Yeah, it will run through the paces. The furnace takes a while to stage up, especially when it starts in low heat.
Okay. Nothing is firing here. Tried stage 2. Same thing. Don't know if it matters, but the light here on the motherboard through the window is yellow.
I'll review the dip switch settings just to make sure I didn't get something wrong.
Cooling is working fine. Well, I say that. But it doesn't shut down when I stop the test. On stage 1. Okay, it shut down. Trying stage 2 cool. Stage 2 started up and is humming along. Fan works, dehumidifier, aka AC, started and blew cold air. Heating is all we are stuck on.
All the dip switch settings are correct. I would suspect the furnace was in its self-test mode. Click here for a link to the service manual for your furnace with a very in-depth sequence of operations starting on page 4 at line item 1. Bear in mind that your furnace and thermostat are set up for the sequence of operation as described in line item 2 in the heating sequence. There is a substantial self-test the furnace performs on first startup, so it may take a while. If the tests are timed in the nest, I can't remember on the Gen 3, it may not be giving the furnace enough time to run its self-test in the heating cycle. I suspect that is the case here if all was operating fine before the thermostat change. The solid LED is normal operation.
Okay, so just fire it back up and see.
Yes, I would turn it on normal heat, not test, and let it stage up. I suspect it will test itself and resume normal operation. If it doesn't, then there may be trouble in the furnace itself. I suspect it'll run fine though.
Okay. I'll let you know. The heat ran fine this morning before the change, so you are probably right. I don't think there were any wiring errors on my part looking at the pictures.
It doesn't sound like you made any errors either. If you hear the inducer motor stage up, it's variable speed so it can be hard to hear, then you know all is well. That is the start to the heating cycle regardless of whether stage 1 or stage 2 heat is called for.
Yeah, that was my worry. I didn't hear anything stage up. Just the same noise it makes when the power is on.
You can test the thermostat and furnace in this new wiring application by installing a short jumper wire between R and W1/W1 both on the furnace control board and try restarting it. That simulates the call for heat just like the thermostat does for real. It's odd that it's not staging up when it worked earlier. The heating part is the simplest control, just start at W1 or R to W1 and W2 for low and high stage respectively.
Okay. So go on the furnace board and connect a wire between the R and W1. Don't do anything on the thermostat. Then turn power back on. The heat has ran for 30 minutes now with no result. So I guess I should do that if what I said was correct. I can tell you exactly what happened. I pulled the Nest panel off and it looks like the W1 wire got pinched and cut.
Yes, installing a temporary jumper between R and W1 for low heat and between R, W1 and W2 on the furnace board overrides the thermostat entirely and should bring on low heat and high heat respectively depending on what you have jumpered. That would explain things.
I think we are covered here. I can't tell you how great you were.
That's awesome. I hope you enjoy your new Nest. It's a great thermostat. Let me know if you have further questions on this subject. Otherwise, please remember to rate before leaving, 3 stars or higher please. Bonuses are always appreciated. And remember, follow-up questions about this topic are free even after rating. Just post a new reply on this same question and I'll be notified. Thanks for allowing me to help and thanks for using JustAnswer. Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much for the great rating and bonus. I really appreciate it.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.